Hello Year 11, well done on getting some help with your homework again. This one's slightly different in as far as it asks you whether two sources agree or disagree. So similar in principle, you're still using the source themselves, but you're looking at what is it saying about a certain event and does it actually confirm what the other source says, does it agree with the other source, okay? So the first source we're looking at, it's quite a famous cartoon by a man called David Lowe. Obviously you wouldn't know that because it doesn't say anything on the actual paper itself, but the title of the actual cartoon is that they salute with both hands now. Alright? And the cartoon itself is published in 1934. Now obviously that should set your mind thinking straight away what's happening in 1934. Well, it's the night of the long knives. Okay, so just to abbreviate and make it nice and simple, we've got the night of the long knives. Okay, now on the cartoon itself, we've got a few key characters and a few things happening. We've got a little piece of paper here that says Hitler's unkept promises. We've got obviously Hitler here himself with a gun, and a gentleman next to him dressed up as a god of war in this instance, and the guy who appears to be hiding just behind Hitler. Okay, and in front of Hitler we've got all these gentlemen who are now saluting. Alright, the caption, like we said before, says they salute with both hands now. So it infers that perhaps before he didn't quite have full loyalty. Now obviously the night of the long knives, without going into too much detail, you can refer to a GCSE pod to get some more detail from, and the year itself 1934, but just in brief, the night of the long knives is when Hitler purged the SA to appease the army. So he got rid of quite a few SA leaders, including the leader of the SA itself, Ernst Röhm, to keep the army happy. Okay, so having a quick look at it. So the cartoon shows us that whoever produced it is not overly happy with the turn of events that the night of the long knives involved. Okay, we can tell that because it appears that Hitler is wanting to potentially eliminate some more people, and that little piece of paper there, Hitler's unkept promises, suggests that Hitler's gone back on his word and betrayed quite a few people. You can also see what appear to be dead bodies behind Hitler. And then we've got this gentleman here, who is in fact Hermann Göring, dressed up as a god of war. And this particular guy down here, who is Goebbels, two of Hitler's right-hand men, these two here, who appear to be provoking Hitler and pushing Hitler towards getting rid of some of the SA, getting shut of some of the SA. Okay, so it puts quite a negative spin on the night of the long knives. It appears that Hitler is going out of his way to betray other people. Okay, so if the question itself was about what is the message of this cartoon, it would be quite straightforward. You would highlight all the details we just have, and obviously talk about the night of the long knives, and explain what the message of the cartoon is. What is it trying to say? But the question itself is not that. It's saying how far, do these sources agree? Okay, so the source that we are talking about is this one, just here, and it says, the Führer with soldierly decision and great courage has himself attacked and crushed the traitors and the murderers. Okay, a member of Hitler's government talking about the night of the long knives. So we've got two accounts of the night of the long knives. Now if we look at the first one, what we said was actually it wasn't very flattering, and gave a very different account of the night of the long knives from this one. So the question is asking you, how far do these two sources agree about the night of the long knives? What happened on the night of the long knives? So the obvious answer is that they don't really agree. Okay, now obviously that is not going to wash, I'm afraid, with the OCR. So you need to talk about potentially why they disagree and where they disagree. Okay, which is where details from the source, all the things that we mentioned here in terms of the things we've circled, are important. You're also going to have to mention where this particular source itself came from. So, you know, a member of Hitler's government talking about the Night of the Long Knives is not going to give a particularly fair or balanced perspective on what happened on the Night of the Long Knives. So it's important that you explain why these two sources disagree, in as far as one is produced by a British cartoonist, who obviously generally is quite informed about the Night of the Long Knives, is aware of what's happened and the events itself, and the other one is someone who supports Hitler and is quite open to Hitler's interpretation of that particular night, that people were plotting to get rid of Hitler. Okay? So, tips for doing this: obviously answer the question. And the easiest way to do that, to make sure that you tick every box, is just turn that question on its head. How far do these sources agree about the events of the Night of the Long Knives? Okay, these sources agree or disagree a lot or a little, or just make sure you include that question in your answer, and then at no point can you be accused of not answering the question. The other thing is, make sure you use details from the sources. Okay, we spent a bit of time tonight just having a little look at key aspects of these cartoons. Okay, remember, you are trying to show off what you know about the Night of the Long Knives and why these two particular sources disagree. Okay, good luck with the question, guys.